My beloved child, pause right here. Something shifted last night, and you felt it, didn't you? Not in your room, not in the air, but deep inside your spirit. You woke up slightly heavier, slightly confused, as if an invisible conversation happened while you were asleep, and you weren't invited. Your partner prayed against you last night, but listen carefully. This is not what your fear wants you to think. This is not about harm. This is not about betrayal in the way your mind imagines. This is about intention, energy, direction. Last night, while you were resting, someone connected to you spoke words about you, words shaped by emotion, shaped by uncertainty, shaped by their own internal storm. And here is the revelation you must understand. When someone prays against you, it does not always mean they want your downfall. Sometimes it means they are afraid of losing control. Sometimes it means they are asking for distance because they feel overwhelmed by your growth. Yes, your growth. You have been evolving quietly. Your thoughts have been changing. Your standards have been rising. Your silence has become deeper. Your presence more powerful. And when someone feels that shift, they react. Last night was not an attack. It was a reaction. Pause for a second. What if this moment changes your entire path? Because here is what they did not realize. Every word spoken about you echoed back into the universe, not as harm, but as revelation. Their prayer exposed their insecurity. Their words revealed their fear. And their intention uncovered the truth about the connection. Stay a little longer, because this is where it becomes extraordinary. When someone prays against your progress, the higher intelligence that governs balance does something unexpected. It redirects energy. It clarifies alignment. It forces destiny to adjust. And that adjustment has already begun. You may notice small signs today. A sudden urge to reflect. A memory resurfacing. A strange calm where anxiety once lived. That is not random. That is awareness activating. Because the moment someone questioned your path last night, the universe asked a counter question. Is this connection built on fear, or on mutual elevation? And the answer is forming now. You might feel the need to observe more carefully, to listen without reacting, to sense without accusing. Do not rush into confrontation. Do not rush into suspicion. Wait till the final moment. This is not about proving someone wrong. This is about seeing clearly. Their prayer, whether spoken softly or whispered in private, has created a mirror. And that mirror is showing both of you the truth about where you stand. Some relationships transform when exposed to light. Some dissolve gently. Some rise stronger. But none remain unchanged after truth enters the room. You were meant to know this. Not to panic. Not to fear. But to prepare your awareness. Because something huge is unfolding, not in chaos, but in clarity. And here is the most powerful part. If their prayer was rooted in doubt, it will strengthen your independence. If it was rooted in confusion, it will invite honest conversation. If it was rooted in love mixed with fear, it will push both of you to grow. You'll understand everything at the end. For now, breathe. Observe. Notice how your intuition feels sharper today. Notice how you sense more than what is spoken. That is your inner guidance rising. Last night did not weaken you. It activated you. And this activation is the beginning of a turning point you didn't even know you needed. Stay present. The next layer of this revelation is closer than you think. Look closely. The energy today feels different, doesn't it? Not dramatic. Not chaotic. Just altered, as if something invisible rearranged itself while you were unaware. Your partner prayed against you last night, and now the ripple is moving. But here is the truth that most people never realize. When someone sends out a request shaped by fear, the universe does not simply grant it. It evaluates it. It measures it against alignment. It asks, does this serve growth? And growth always wins. That prayer, whatever words were spoken, has triggered something much deeper than they intended. It has initiated clarity. Have you noticed how your thoughts feel sharper today? How you are remembering small moments you once ignored? How certain behaviors now stand out in a new light? This is not coincidence. This is awareness adjusting its lens. Before you go any further, hear this line carefully. Sometimes when someone prays against you, they are unknowingly praying for your independence. Yes, because fear cannot hold what destiny is expanding. Stay with me. Don't skip this part. Something huge is waiting for you inside this realization. When your partner released those words into the night, they revealed something about themselves. Maybe insecurity, maybe uncertainty, maybe a silent fear that you are growing beyond the version of yourself they once understood. And growth can feel threatening to someone who isn't evolving at the same pace. But here is the extraordinary twist. Their prayer did not reduce your path. It strengthened it. Energy follows awareness. And now that you know, you are no longer moving blindly. You are moving consciously. This is the turning point. Instead of reacting emotionally, you are being invited to elevate strategically, to observe patterns, to listen beyond surface conversations, to feel the subtle difference between love that empowers and love that restricts. Wait till the final moment of this message, because the shift is becoming clearer. You may soon notice one of two things. Either they soften, they approach you with unexpected vulnerability, they begin speaking with honesty, as if something inside them wants to repair what fear attempted to distort, or they distance slightly, not dramatically, just enough for you to sense it. Both outcomes carry a gift, because both outcomes reveal alignment. If this message is resonating with your current situation, pause for a second and breathe with it. And if your intuition is whispering, "This is exactly what I've been feeling," then let that be your confirmation. Share this with someone who needs clarity. Leave a comment if your energy shifted today. And if these revelations guide you, subscribe so you don't miss what unfolds next. Not as a command, but as a connection. Now listen closely. The reason you were meant to know about last night is not to create suspicion. It is to prepare you for a decision that is approaching. A subtle one. A quiet one. But powerful. Because when someone prays against your progress, destiny responds by asking you, will you shrink, or will you rise? And you already know the answer. You are not here to shrink. You are here to evolve. So today, instead of confronting them with accusation, confront yourself with clarity. Ask, do I feel supported? Do I feel celebrated? Do I feel free? Do not rush to answer. Let the next 24 hours show you. You'll understand everything at the end of this unfolding. Last night's prayer was not the end of your connection. It was the beginning of truth revealing itself. Stay present. The next revelation is even deeper. Something is about to become undeniable, and you can already feel it building beneath the surface. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady. Your partner prayed against you last night, and now the consequences are no longer hidden in silence. They are surfacing through behavior. Watch closely. Energy never lies. Words can. Smiles can. Even promises can. But energy always reveals alignment. Since that moment, there has been a subtle shift in the dynamic. Maybe their tone sounds slightly different. Maybe they are observing you more carefully. Maybe they are unusually quiet, or unusually attentive. This is not random. When someone releases a prayer shaped by fear, they unconsciously wait to see if the universe responds. And when nothing collapses, When you remain strong, centered, evolving, it unsettles them. Because your stability becomes proof. Proof that you are protected by your own growth. Proof that your path does not bend easily. Proof that your destiny is not fragile. Pause here. What if the prayer they spoke was actually a test? Not a test for you, but a test for the connection. And now the results are unfolding. Stay a little longer, because this part is crucial. If their intention was rooted in insecurity, they will now feel confronted by their own doubt. You may notice them seeking reassurance, subtly asking questions, watching how you respond to distance. If their intention was rooted in confusion, they will feel drawn to clarity. They may open up in ways they never have before. Conversations may suddenly deepen. But if their intention was rooted in control, something else will happen. They will sense that control slipping. Because here is what they did not expect. Instead of shrinking, you are becoming more aware. Instead of reacting emotionally, you are observing strategically. And that observation is power. You might feel an internal calm that surprises you. A calm that says, I see clearly now. That clarity is your turning point. Don't skip this realization. When someone prays against you, they expose where they stand in relation to your growth. And once exposed, the connection must either evolve or realign. There is no middle ground after truth enters the atmosphere. You may soon face a moment, small, simple, almost ordinary, that carries extraordinary weight. A conversation, a decision, a boundary you set calmly, a choice to prioritize your vision. That moment will reveal everything. Before you go, hear this carefully. This was never about them overpowering you. It was about you discovering your own strength. Their prayer has become your awakening. And something huge is waiting for you on the other side of this awareness. Not drama, not chaos, but elevation. Elevation in how you communicate. Elevation in what you tolerate. Elevation in what you attract next. Whether this connection strengthens or shifts, one thing is certain. You will not return to the version of yourself that tolerated confusion. Last night created clarity. And clarity creates momentum. Stay steady. The final layer of this revelation is closer than you think, and when it arrives, you will understand why you were meant to know this now. This is the moment everything quietly locks into place, and you finally see the pattern. Not with fear, not with anger, but with vision. Your partner prayed against you last night, and what once felt mysterious now feels meaningful. Because today, the pieces are aligning. Think about it. Since that night, something inside you has shifted permanently. You are no longer reacting from emotion. You are responding from awareness. There is space between stimulus and response now. That space is power. Stay with this realization. The prayer that was spoken did not weaken your connection. It tested its foundation. And foundations either crack under truth, or they solidify. Look at how you feel right now. Are you calmer than you expected? Stronger than you thought? More certain about your worth? That is not accidental. When someone sends out energy shaped by doubt, the universe does something remarkable. It amplifies truth. And truth has been amplified around you since that moment. You may notice clearer conversations unfolding, or you may notice subtle distance creating space. Either way, you are no longer blind to what you deserve. Wait till the final moment of this part, because something even deeper is forming. This entire experience was not about them trying to limit you. It was about destiny asking you a question. Will you continue loving from fear, or will you love from strength? And strength feels different. Strength does not chase. Strength does not beg. Strength observes and chooses. If you felt this shift, if something inside you resonates with these words, then let this be your quiet confirmation. Share this message with someone who needs clarity. Leave a comment if you feel the energy changing. And if this guidance helps you see more clearly, subscribe so you remain connected to what unfolds next. Not out of pressure, but out of alignment. Now listen closely. There is a future version of you watching this moment. That version is grateful you did not panic. Grateful you did not react impulsively. Grateful you chose awareness over assumption. Because what happens next is subtle, but life-altering. Either your partner will rise to meet your growth, stepping into honesty, maturity, deeper alignment. Or your path will gently redirect you toward something more expansive. Both outcomes lead upward. This is why you were meant to open this message before it was too late, not because danger was approaching, but because clarity was arriving. Clarity does not scream, it whispers. And right now, you can hear it. You are not losing anything. You are gaining perspective. You are gaining strength. You are gaining the ability to choose relationships that reflect your evolution. Something huge is waiting for you, not in conflict, but in elevation. Last night was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your upgrade. Stay steady. The transformation has already begun, and you are standing exactly where you need to be. Right now, something invisible is settling into certainty. You can feel it, not as pressure, not as urgency, but as quiet knowing. Your partner prayed against you last night, and what began as a hidden act has now become your awakening. Look at yourself closely. You are not spiraling. You are not chasing answers. You are not reacting impulsively. Instead, you are observing. That alone tells you everything. Because when someone releases doubt into the universe about you, two forces immediately begin working. One reveals their truth, and the other strengthens yours. And yours has been strengthening. Stay here with this realization. Over the past hours, maybe even days, your emotional reactions have slowed down. You're thinking before speaking. You're sensing before responding. You're noticing details you once ignored. This is not coincidence. This is consciousness expanding. The prayer that was spoken did not diminish you. It activated discernment inside you. It turned your intuition from a whisper into a steady voice. And now that voice is asking you something powerful. Does this connection match who you are becoming? Pause. Let that question echo. Because this is the real turning point. Not whether they prayed. Not what exact words were said. But whether you still feel aligned with the direction your life is moving. You might notice something subtle happening soon. Either they begin to show up differently, more honest, more open, more grounded. Or you begin to feel less attached to their approval. Both are growth. Don't skip this truth. When someone prays against your progress, they unknowingly accelerate your clarity. They force destiny to move faster. They push decisions that may have taken months, into days. And clarity feels like peace. It feels like not needing to prove your worth. It feels like not shrinking to keep someone comfortable. It feels like standing still while everything else rearranges around you. Before you go any further, hear this carefully. You were meant to know this before it was too late, not because something terrible was approaching, but because self-awareness was arriving. Too late would have meant continuing unconsciously. Too late would have meant ignoring your intuition. But you didn't. You opened this message. You listened. You reflected. That alone changes outcomes. Something huge is waiting for you, not a dramatic ending, not a sudden collapse, but an elevation in how you love, how you choose, how you value yourself. If they rise with you, the connection transforms beautifully. If they don't, your path expands beyond what you can currently imagine. Either way, you win, because you are no longer unaware. Last night's prayer was not your weakness. It was your revelation. And this revelation is shaping a future where you move from strength, speak from clarity, and love without fear. Stay present. The story is not ending. It is refining, and you are stepping into a version of yourself that no doubt can diminish. This is where the silence starts speaking louder than words. Can you feel it? Not tension, not drama, but a quiet shift in the atmosphere between you and them. Your partner prayed against you last night, and now the universe is answering in a way neither of you expected. Because the real response was never going to be external. It was internal. Inside you, something has stabilized. You are no longer seeking reassurance in the same way. You are no longer overanalyzing every small detail. Instead, there is a calm observation happening. That calm is power awakening. Stay with this feeling. When someone sends out energy shaped by doubt, they unconsciously create distance between who you were and who you are becoming. And that distance is sacred. It allows you to see clearly. Maybe you've started noticing patterns that were once invisible. Maybe you're recognizing moments where you gave more than you received. Or maybe you're realizing that your growth has been happening faster than theirs. None of this is meant to create conflict. It is meant to create alignment. Wait a little longer before drawing conclusions. Because here is the deeper layer. The prayer they spoke last night was not strong enough to alter your destiny, but it was strong enough to expose their emotional position. And now that exposure is shaping the future. You may soon experience a defining interaction. It could be something small, a conversation that feels unusually honest, or something subtle. A shift in how they look at you, how they respond to your independence. In that moment, everything will become clear. You will sense whether they are ready to grow with you, or whether they are holding on to a version of you that no longer exists. Don't skip this awareness. This is not about winning or losing. It is about evolution. Because when someone prays against you, they unknowingly activate your self-respect. They push you into a higher standard. They remind you that your worth does not depend on anyone's approval. And self-respect changes everything. It changes how you speak. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you attract next. Before you move forward, hear this carefully. The reason this message reached you now is because the next few days will reveal subtle truths. Not dramatic ones. Not explosive ones, but undeniable ones. Pay attention to consistency. Pay attention to effort. Pay attention to whether their actions align with your evolution. Something huge is waiting for you, not in confrontation, but in confirmation. Confirmation of who you are becoming. Confirmation of what you deserve. Confirmation of whether this connection is aligned with your future. Last night's prayer was not a curse. It was a catalyst. And catalysts do not destroy strong foundations. They test and refine them. You are not standing in fear. You are standing in clarity. And clarity is the doorway to your next chapter. Stay steady. The final piece of this revelation is almost here, and when it arrives, you will understand why this had to happen exactly when it did. Now the truth is no longer forming, it is revealing itself. Slowly, clearly, without force. Your partner prayed against you last night, and what once felt hidden is now standing in quiet daylight. Look at how differently you are thinking. A week ago, you might have reacted emotionally. You might have rushed to fix, to question, to prove. But now, you are composed. And that composure is your transformation. Stay here with this awareness. Because the real shift was never about what they said in private. It was about what awakened inside you afterward. Discernment. You are no longer looking at the relationship through emotion alone. You are looking at it through vision. Vision asks different questions. Does this person celebrate my growth? Do they feel inspired by my evolution, or intimidated by it? When I rise, do they rise with me? Pause. Let those questions settle, because the answer is already showing itself in small ways. Notice how they respond when you speak confidently. Notice how they react when you set a boundary gently. Notice whether they lean in closer, or pull back slightly. Energy does not hide for long. And here is the deeper layer of this revelation. When someone prays against you, they reveal their relationship with your power. Some people are ready to walk beside strength. Some are only comfortable walking beside dependence. And you are no longer dependent. That realization alone changes the entire dynamic. Don't skip this turning point. There may be a conversation approaching, not dramatic, not confrontational, but honest. In that moment, you will sense everything without needing long explanations. If they are ready to grow, you will feel alignment. If they are not, you will feel calm detachment. Not pain, not fear, just clarity. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is not about losing someone. It is about gaining yourself fully. Before this message ends, understand this carefully. You were never meant to stay in a space where your growth felt threatening to someone else. You were meant to be with someone who sees your expansion and feels inspired, not unsettled. Last night's prayer was not about your weakness. It was about your evolution becoming undeniable. And evolution forces choices. Either the connection rises to meet your new level, or your path gently redirects you toward something aligned with your future vision. There is no chaos here, only alignment. Unfolding. You are standing at a quiet crossroads, not of fear, but of elevation. And the most powerful part? You are not confused anymore. You are aware. Stay steady. The final revelation will bring everything together, and when it does, you will realize this moment was never about opposition. It was about awakening. This is the final layer, the one that was always waiting for you to arrive at it calmly. Take a breath. Notice how different you feel from the moment you first heard the words, "Your partner prayed against you last night." At first, it sounded alarming, mysterious, almost unsettling. But now, it feels like clarity, because the real message was never about them trying to block you. It was about revealing whether your connection can survive your evolution. And here is the truth that ties everything together. When someone prays against you, they are usually praying against change. Change in you, change in the dynamic, change in control. But change is exactly what your life is built for right now. You are not the same person you were months ago. Your standards are different. Your energy is sharper. Your silence carries more weight. Your presence feels stronger. And that strength cannot be unseen. So the universe allowed you to know, not to create suspicion, not to create distance, but to give you awareness before decisions solidify. Because too late does not mean disaster. It means staying unconscious. And you are no longer unconscious. Stay with this for a moment. Over the next few days, something subtle will confirm everything you've sensed. It might be a tone shift, a deeper conversation, an unexpected honesty, or even a realization inside you that says, "I am ready for the next level." That confirmation will feel peaceful. That is how you know it is truth. Don't skip this final understanding. The prayer spoken last night did not have power over your destiny. It simply triggered your awakening. And awakenings do not destroy strong bonds, they purify them. If this connection is meant to rise, it will rise stronger than before. Fear will dissolve. Communication will deepen. Respect will expand. If it is not aligned with your future, it will gently loosen its grip without chaos. Either way, something huge is waiting for you. Not heartbreak, not conflict, but elevation. Elevation in how you love. Elevation in what you expect. Elevation in who you are becoming. You opened this message at the exact moment you needed it, not because you were in danger, but because you were ready, ready to see clearly, ready to choose consciously, ready to step into a version of yourself that does not shrink for anyone's comfort. Your partner prayed against you last night. And instead of weakening you, it strengthened your awareness. Instead of blocking your path, it illuminated it. Now you move forward differently, with calm, with vision, with quiet confidence. And that confidence is unstoppable. And now, you are standing in the afterglow of awareness. Do you feel it? That quiet steadiness in your chest, that absence of panic, that surprising sense of control. Your partner prayed against you last night, but you are the one who transformed. This is the part most people never talk about. When someone sends out energy shaped by doubt, and you respond with clarity instead of fear, you shift the entire dynamic. You silently reposition yourself. You are no longer reacting from insecurity. You are no longer seeking validation. You are no longer afraid of what might happen. You are prepared for whatever reveals itself. And preparation is power. Stay with this realization, because something subtle is happening now, not just in them, but in you. You are detaching from outcomes. That doesn't mean you care less. It means you trust more. Trust that what is aligned will remain. Trust that what is misaligned will correct itself. Trust that your growth cannot be reversed by someone else's uncertainty. This is the real victory. Before you rush ahead, pause. What if their prayer was the final test of your emotional maturity? What if the universe allowed you to sense it so you could prove to yourself that you no longer crumble under doubt? Look at how composed you are now compared to the beginning of this message. That is evolution in real time. Don't skip this understanding, because soon, there will be a moment, small, ordinary, almost forgettable, where you notice the shift completely. Maybe they approach you differently. Maybe you respond differently. Maybe the tension you once imagined simply isn't there anymore. That moment will confirm everything. You will realize that the power was never in what they said privately. The power was in how you chose to rise publicly, in your energy, in your behavior, in your self-respect. Something huge is waiting for you. Not a dramatic confrontation, not a shocking reveal, but a peaceful upgrade. An upgrade in your standards, an upgrade in your emotional strength, an upgrade in your ability to love without losing yourself. And here is the deeper truth tying it all together. When someone prays against you, they are acknowledging your impact. People do not pray about what feels insignificant. They pray about what feels powerful. And you are powerful, powerful enough to trigger reflection, powerful enough to inspire fear, powerful enough to demand growth from those around you. Now the final question rests gently in front of you. Will they grow with you, or will your path outgrow them? You don't need to force the answer. It is already unfolding. Stay steady. The closing revelation is approaching. And when it arrives, you will see that this was never about opposition. It was about elevation. This is the closing truth, the one that was quietly building from the very beginning. Lean into this moment. Your partner prayed against you last night, and yet here you are, calmer, stronger, more self-aware than ever before. That alone tells you something extraordinary. Because if their intention had real power over your destiny, you would feel weakened right now. But you don't. You feel clearer. And clarity is the highest form of protection. Stay with me. Everything that has unfolded since that night has led you to this realization. The prayer was not about your downfall. It was about their discomfort with your expansion. Expansion changes dynamics. When you evolve, you shift the balance of energy in every relationship around you. Some people feel inspired by that shift. Others feel unsettled. but neither reaction defines your worth. You do. Pause for a second and recognize what has truly happened. You have stepped into emotional independence. You are no longer afraid of hidden conversations. You are no longer shaken by invisible intentions. You are no longer controlled by uncertainty. You are grounded, and grounding changes outcomes. Don't skip this final understanding. The reason you were guided to open this message, before it was too late, was not about preventing disaster. It was about preventing self-betrayal. Too late would have meant ignoring your intuition. Too late would have meant shrinking your growth to maintain comfort. But you chose awareness instead. Now watch how the next days unfold. You will notice alignment becoming obvious. Either your partner meets your energy with maturity and openness, or the gap between your visions becomes undeniable. And if that gap appears, you will not panic. You will choose calmly. Because something huge is waiting for you, not in losing someone, but in fully owning who you are becoming. The final truth is simple and powerful. No prayer spoken against you can override your purpose. No doubt expressed about you can diminish your destiny. What is meant for you does not tremble at uncertainty, and what trembles at your growth was never meant to control your future. Your partner prayed against you last night, but today, you stand awakened, not suspicious, not fearful, but elevated. And elevation is irreversible. You move forward now with quiet confidence, with discernment, with strength that does not need to announce itself. This chapter did not end your story. It refined it. And from this moment on, you love differently. You choose differently. You walk differently. Because you see clearly. And once you see clearly, you never go back. And now, everything becomes still. Not because nothing is happening, but because you finally understand. Your partner prayed against you last night, and what once sounded dramatic now feels divine in its timing. Look at the journey you just walked through. You began with uncertainty. You moved through awareness. You stepped into clarity. And now, you stand in quiet power. This was never a story about someone trying to harm you. It was a revelation about how strong you truly are. Because the moment you sensed that unseen intention, you did not collapse. You did not lash out. You did not shrink. You elevated. And elevation is the real miracle here. Stay with this final truth. When someone prays against you, they are acknowledging that your presence matters, that your growth has impact, that your energy is powerful enough to move them emotionally. Insignificance is ignored. Power is prayed about. Let that sink in. The universe allowed you to know not to create division, but to create discernment. Not to build walls, but to build wisdom. And wisdom changes everything. From this point forward, you will no longer question your intuition when it whispers. You will no longer silence your inner voice to keep peace. You will no longer shrink your light to avoid unsettling someone else's comfort. You are done with that version of yourself. Something huge was waiting for you in this entire unfolding, not a dramatic ending, not a shocking confrontation, but self-realization. You realize that your destiny is not fragile. You realize that your value does not depend on anyone's silent approval. You realize that if someone feels unsettled by your growth, it is not your responsibility to become smaller. And here is the most powerful closing revelation. The connection will now align itself naturally. If it is meant to continue, it will transform into something deeper, more honest, more mature. If it is not meant to continue, it will gently release without chaos, because you are no longer attached from fear. You are attached from choice. That is strength. Before this message ends, take one last breath and recognize who you are now compared to when you started listening. You are clearer. You are calmer. You are confident in your direction. Your partner prayed against you last night, but today? You walk forward blessed by awareness. And awareness is unstoppable. This was never about opposition. It was about awakening. And you have awakened.